During my gap year, I didn't go travelling to far-flung places or medium-flung places or even flung places. Instead, I spent my gap year working in the local cinema for the minimum wage on a 0-hour contract, which I allegedly supplemented by liberating everything that wasn't nailed down and having a damn good try at the stuff that was. Allegedly. Now this worked for me because I was living at home and had very limited outgoings. And again, when I was at university and working in a separate cinema, I found a 0-hour contract useful. I could pull in extra hours when I was procrastinating, and none when the deadline was the next day. Allegedly. I've been following with some interest a story about how workers at several picture house cinemas in London have gone on strike in recent months, disrupting the London Film Festival in October in their battle to secure the independently calculated living wage and better sick pay for workers. Now, I feel I should clarify that there is a national minimum wage, i.e. the legal minimum that you can be paid, and the living wage, which is calculated by the Living Wage Foundation, which stands at £9.75 an hour in London and £8.45 outside the capital. By contrast, the national minimum wage for 25 and over is £7.20, 21 to 24-year-olds receive a princely £5.60 an hour, and from 18 to 20 it stands at a mere £5.55. And in the interest of full disclosure, Picture House is owned by Cineworld, which is my cinema of choice, mostly for their unlimited card, which gives me all the films I can watch and advanced screenings of certain films. However, I am not funded by them and my opinions remain my own. Back with the strike, 6 union officials at the Ritzy in Brixton and 1 at Hackney Picture House have been suspended for no reason that I can discover, a move that the union Bec2 has called appalling. Jerry Morrissey, the leader of Bec2, which is part of Prospect, said Bec2 members in Picture House have been striking for over 10 months for a living wage, company sick pay and union recognition. It is appalling that Picture House and Cineworld would rather intimidate and threaten to dismiss their staff than enter constructive negotiations. This is clearly an attempt to break the union by undermining the strike and intimidating other workers. Last month, Cineworld agreed to meet union representatives to try to resolve the dispute, but union representatives say no negotiations have since been held. Company chair Tony Bloom said at the time that the board was proud of our employment practices everywhere and defended the Picture House pay rates, claiming they were the highest in the industry at £9.05 an hour in London, Ritzy staff get £9.10, and £8.18 outside the capital, including paid half-hour breaks. This amounted to £9.65 within inches of the London voluntary wage, Bloom said, and £8.72 outside of London. Bloom expressed concern about the company becoming a living wage accredited organisation like its rival Curzon. If we agree to the living wage and it raises to £15 next year, we'll be bound to follow that, he said. Picture House has also defended its pay structure in a statement on its website. For many years, Picture House Cinemas has paid its front-of-house customer service staff well above minimum wage. Our pay rates are among the highest in the industry and have enabled us to attract and retain staff who are knowledgeable about film, skilled in many areas, and are able to offer high levels of service. This is not good enough. Cineworld recently boasted pre-tax profits of £98.2 million, and that number is expected to be higher next year. Its stock has soared over the last few months, and that it pays more than the other cinemas does not mean that it pays enough. It simply means it pays the least worst. For example, Cineworld's other main rival, Odeon, pays the minimum wage of £7.50 an hour. Staff who have worked less than a year do not get company sick pay. Longer-term employees only get sick pay if they have been off work for 8 days. Workers want sick pay for all staff from the first day they are off ill. 0-hour contracts are fine for a student or people on gap years, but they are by their very nature transient. Upset a manager, for instance, and you risk getting no work at all. Film fans have also criticised poor pay and conditions when they are paying £13 or more to watch a film, but this is an irrelevance. Film fans have also criticised poor pay and conditions when they are paying £13 or more to watch a film, but this is an irrelevance. For the first 2 weeks of a film's release, an average of 90% of box office takings go back to the studios that make the films. I heard rumours of Revenge of the Sith demanding 100% of the box office take. Cinemas make their money from popcorn, fizzy drinks and pick and mix. I support the workers who are simply asking for the right to be able to afford the city that they live in. Edward Bauer, who works at the Hackney Picture House, which has also staged strikes, added, "I'm paid £9.05 per hour for 9 hours. I can't live on popcorn and free cinema tickets. It's a struggle. We genuinely believe that staff in London and elsewhere deserve the security of having wages pegged to the cost of living." It should be noticed that after a similar process in 2014, the Curzon chain agreed to pay the living wage to some staff, and earlier this month became fully accredited to the Living Wage Foundation, as it said all staff, including agency workers, would get the independently agreed rate. There is no reason why Cineworld, a constituent of the FTSE 250 index, cannot do the same. Suspending union workers for no reason is a strike tactic that belongs in the 1930s. Natalie Parsons, a shareholder who works for the Ritzy, said every time the Ritzy is closed on a Saturday, the company loses £20,000, and 5 other cinemas are now participating in industrial action. Would it not make financial sense to meet with staff as soon as possible to reach a resolution on this dispute? It would, wouldn't it? But what do you think? And what was your gap year job? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, this has been a What on Earth. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.